Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sister. This is the translation that she sent to me. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My name is Miriam, not a real name, so I am a retired nurse. I have spent over 3 decades working in the healthcare system here in our country in Zim. I am writing this confession to you with a heavy heart. As for now, sometimes I stay here, then there are some times when I am staying in Europe. I cannot tell you the country where I am now it's a citizen of because I am scared. So I am writing this confession to you with a heavy heart, as I have lived with a very dark secret for many, many years, one that haunts me each and every day. When I was on the plane, like the first time when I came to Europe, even my sister, she then told me that everything was going to be okay because some of my family members, they knew what had happened. So me leaving Zim at that time, it was because of the things that had happened. So it was on a night shift. I was working at this small rural hospital where I worked in Mutoko. The night had been unusually quiet, and because of some of the challenges that I was facing in my marriage at that time, me and my husband, we had been fighting, and I found out that he had several girlfriends that he had impregnated. It was just too much for me. I was a good Christian woman, and I could not even understand the reason as to why God had decided to punish me in such a way, because some of these women that my husband was dating, they would come back to me, then they would insult me, telling me that I was not good in bed. That was why they were dating my husband. So it was just too much. The stress, praying and God not responding to your prayers. It was just too much on my heart. I had been drinking throughout the day heavily before my shift. I was struggling, I don't want to lie, with personal issues, and at that time alcohol had became my way of coping. That night I was not just tipsy, I was drunk, like really drunk, and I should have never been at work when I was drunk like that. Around midnight, that was when a young pregnant woman was brought in. She was in distress and her condition was just critical. She was bleeding heavily and she needed immediate attention, but I was too intoxicated to care even properly for her. Instead of doing what I had been trained to do for years and years, I ignored her pleas, dismissing her pain, and I was saying, "You are exaggerating. When you were sleeping with your husband, was I there? You should have been in pain, but you were enjoying. You need to enjoy, for those are the consequences when a woman sleeps with a man. A woman will feel the pain when she is about to give birth. Even in the Bible, it is written." I let her lie there unattended whilst I sat at the nurse's station drinking my own drink and thinking about what some of my husband's girlfriends had told me earlier on. By the time that I realized the gravity of the situation, it was a little bit too late. The woman had died along with her unborn child. I remember the panic that set in as I tried to cover up all of my gross negligence. But the truth could not be hidden. I knew that my carelessness, even though I had covered it up, it had costed 2 innocent lives. For days after her death, I was haunted by her guilt. I could barely sleep, and when I would sleep, I was tormented by her nightmares of her face when she was brought to our clinic, and as she was screaming in pain, asking me to help her. I knew that I could not even live with the guilt. So me and my sister, we then sought out a very powerful witch doctor who was also in Mutoko. I had heard of his ability to make restless spirits to go away, and I was truly desperate. The witch doctor then performed a ritual, promising me that the spirit of the woman would no longer trouble me, and for nearly 20 years it seemed to work. I came to Europe, lived my life, carried on with my life, bearing the memory deep within me, trying to forget the night that had changed everything. I retired, Brother Nashi, built so many houses in Harare, and lived in relative peace, or so I thought. But last year, something happened that shook me to my core. The moment that we landed, because when I was coming here, I first flew to South Africa, then I had to connect with another flight that will take me back to Zim. The moment that my feet touched the Zimbabwean soil, it was as if her spirit was woken up again. I then arrived at my home, the one that I have in the fancy suburbs of Harare. I was alone in my bedroom getting ready to go to bed. That was when I felt like a strange wind that was like blowing into the room. I looked everywhere and I saw that the windows, everything was okay. So where this wind was coming from, I could not even understand. So I kept on listening and observing. Then I heard that this wind, it was coming through the roof, through the ceiling, which was really weird. And my room, it became so cold, like someone had taken me and dumped me into a cold room. So as I turned, because I wanted to get one of my morning gowns because it was really cold, and the aircon, all of a sudden, it was not even working. So I went and I opened my wardrobe. When I turned to close the wardrobe door, that was when I saw her. That young woman, her spirit was standing there, and her eyes was filled with the same pain and fear that I had seen all those years ago. She did not speak, but her presence was enough to send chills down my spine. Since that night, I have seen her several times, always in the same place, always with the same expression. It's as if she is reminding me that no matter where I go to, Europe, America, wherever, she is always going to follow me. I cannot escape what I did. That was when I remembered that witch doctor. So me and my cousin sister's child, because my cousin sister is in Europe as for now, we then went to Mutoko, and when I arrived there, that was when we were told that the person who helped me has since passed away, and they told me that they cannot assist me because now the children, they are no longer doing what their mother used to do, and they cannot assist me. They have since promised me that if they get any kind of help, they are going to tell me. But I think that they just wanted to give me false hope. I am an old woman now, and now that I don't have much time to live, I live in constant fear, knowing that I'll soon have to face her again, not just in this life, but in the next life. I have tried to ask God for forgiveness, but I know that some of the sins, it seems as if they cannot be forgiven. This is my own confession. I was negligent, I was drunk, and because of my failure to do my duty, a young woman and a child, they both passed away. I have lived with this burden of this guilt for over 2 decades now, and now that I am nearing the end of my life, I know that still it is going to haunt me until I go with it into my grave. This is my own story, Brother Nashi. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world.